I found your YouTube channel and I was impressed that you all the details about this visa. You showed that you had experience with previous application. You knew what should be in the application, what should not. When you see a person who is talking based on real experience, real applications, as you can tell, like, okay, we tried this and that, and it worked. That did not work. Your YouTube channel was showing that you know a lot about this. Knowing myself, I can tell that it's hard for me to go with something if you have some kind of uncertainty. So I had an idea of how can I improve my documents, but I wasn't sure 100%, right? If you're working on your own, there is no way for you to receive valuable feedback and which you will respect and believe, right? So if just one person will give you feedback, it's better than nothing, but receiving feedback from an expert, which I've seen many of those applications, I've seen declines and approvals, that's much more useful. So to keep me focused and to receive feedback and to get professional help, I decided to ask your help. Our first communication was in the middle of January. We scheduled a review call where we went through my previous applications, through the from technician, and through my ideas of how I can improve my next application. Even that call already super useful because I could validate the facts that those were mistakes with my previous application. It's not that my achievements are not that good. It should be a way to present them in a better way. I also validated my ideas on how to present in the next step. After that, we get a discussion how we can organize our next steps. I that I would like to have continuous synchronization with you, to be able to synchronize with you and ask for feedback, and both to myself to work on a schedule and focus on this work. We started from another big call strategic session, discussing in more details what exactly documents we're going to prepare, what will be the story of my case, how will we describe my achievements, how will we advertise myself. We agreed to go with calls once a week, but then in the end of January, Tech Nation announced that they're going to shut down their business, and then everything changed.
We were planning 2.5 months to prepare a normal pace where you work on 2 documents a week. You have a call once a week. Then there was the news of Technician closing down. Nobody knew what would happen. And there was a lot of speculation, a lot of gossip on chats, a lot of panic. It made sense that the applications would stop at some point, but we didn't know when this would happen. We had the discussion with you. We both agreed that we should go ahead and try to do it. And this is when the coaching really changed and it got pretty intense in terms of speed.
It was just unbelievable experience because you had several clients like me. Besides that, you had another job, right? We decided to go quickly. I was working on my docs approximately 45 hours per week, another job in parallel to my main one. You were doing similar things. You were working on your main job and also doing help for all your clients, and you were doing it. I don't know how, because definitely it's not my level of energy. I would not survive it. If I do something, if I have a result, I submitting it to you, pretty much instantly you're answering me. At the end of the day, I already have feedback of my document. I can go forward and fix based on concerns. If I have short questions, you are answering instantly. If I need a review of my document, you are answering during the day, 24 hours. As I said, unbelievable, because to prepare documents at that level, we did an expert which is helping you have to immerse in the story, has to keep in mind all pieces of your experience, where you worked before, who were these experts which are supporting your case, what were your achievements. You have to be precise about details. For you, it's natural to remember your own story, right? But for an expert who is also working with several other people, to remember all details and to help you correct your own story, that's an incredible level. I don't know. It's just beyond my abilities of work, because that was so much work and so much stress, and it's hard to imagine. And just think about it. In the end of January, TechNation announced that they're shutting down. Then we started to work in a speedy way. 12th of February, I already applied for stage 1. After submitting the stage 1, you have 15 working days to submit your actual application. We decided to put the leg in this closing door. Even though the whole application wasn't ready at that point, we were pretty sure we will submit it in time. We already had half of the documents in just 2 weeks. So maximum of the documents is 10 documents and 3 letters. I had all of them. I had 10 documents and 3 letters. I have short letters from experts for almost every document in this list. So I had eight letters in total.
In total, you had 11, 8 supporting and 3 main. 11 letters. Oh my God.
That's a lot. That was outstanding work. And then to February, in 2 more weeks, we submitted the application. It means just in a month we applied. That was outstanding work. And I prepared only my docs in a month. But Nadia prepared how many? I don't know.
So, what is your thinking about time involvement from the point of view of the candidate? What should people prepare for psychologically if they want to work on this?
The short answer, it depends, right? It depends, first of all, is how obvious your case is. If your evidences are obvious on their own, let's say you very famous and popular person in industry, you have tons of publications, public speakings with a lot of views, then probably you can spend small amount of time preparing your documents, because it's obvious that you are a talent. I would suggest to schedule a call with Nadia and try to pitch yourself, describe your case to her. If you are such a great talent, you can just validate that you'll spend 2 weeks and submit, and you're okay. But vaguer your case is, the more time you have to spend polishing your documents. You have to think carefully about strategies, because 2 pages of a document to describe a particular point of your achievement is not that big. 3rd pages probably will be occupied by a letter from an expert, because it's on its own a very important piece of proof. But then also you have to describe the context in details, why it's significant. You have to be very precise about the statement, and it takes time, especially if we are talking about track record several years ago. You were doing something. It's not that easy to remember in details and describe in a clear way what exactly you was doing, why it was important, why it was innovation, reference letters and stuff like this, communicating with people. I had great experts. They were answering quickly, they were helping me, but it's not always the case, right? First try, it took me 6 months to apply with almost 0 documents and to fail. We spent months for the second try, but it was months with the context. I already Googled a lot about my previous companies. I have a bunch of ideas what I'm going to provide as approval of success of the companies. Still, it took a lot of time. Months of additional full-time job behind your main job. If your story are not that obvious, the story should be more precisely prepared. It's hard to work on it on your own because of 2 main things. One is to make it on schedule. For me, it would be hard to work precisely and constantly for a long period of time, even if it's important for you. Still, sometimes you can be busy and it's making longer and longer. If you have a communication with a coach, it's like a trainer. Coach is keeping you on your own plan. Going back to the story, somebody has to evaluate this story, has to read it from an outside. You probably love your little story about yourself. You think it's great and it's so cute and it's good enough, but some kind of outside view can evaluate it the same way as reviewers from technician. They have no context, they have only those words you're providing, those links you're providing. Experts who seen many other applications, they've seen results, they've seen responses from technician, they can detach this sensitivity from the story and formally check that it makes sense, it's describing, it's significant. Without it, it will be a long journey, like months of work in the dark. You're doing something and you will have feedback only in the end. If you're working with an expert, you are receiving this feedback on every step. You can even adjust your plan during the work. And again, deciding on your own, is this change okay or not okay? Is it improving your application or decreasing your chances? It's hard to understand on your own. There are channels and forums when you can send your application and they give you feedback. It's better than nothing. It's a different person assessing your application, but they are not in context. They don't know the story, the previous ideas. They are not going to spend hours and days thinking about your application. That's definitely extensive work which should be paid for, right? That's why I personally prefer to work with people whom I'm paying for this work, because it's really important work, very hard work, and want to get as much value as you could. And if you want high value, you have to pay for that. That's my way.